There are bridges in this world that can make your legs go weak with just one look. They're not made for walking. They're built to test your courage. Today, we're counting down 12 of the world's most thrilling and terrifying bridges. Some of these bridges are so extreme, even experienced drivers won't dare to cross them. And if you're afraid of heights, you might not even make it past the first step. So, are you brave enough to take on the challenge? Let's get started. Top 12. Quesachaca Bridge, Peru. This is one of the best preserved Inca rope bridges still standing today. The entire structure is woven from natural plant fibers. The deck, railings, and vertical bindings are all made of hand-braided grass ropes. Every step you take makes the ropes sway, and below you rushes a wild river. Once a year, local villages gather to rebuild the bridge by hand. They harvest the grass, twist it into ropes, and rebuild the bridge in just 3 days. Afterward, they celebrate with a huge festival. While it's a beautiful tradition, crossing this bridge might not be something you want to do twice. Top 11. Royal Gorge Bridge, Colorado, USA. Built in 1929 for $350,000. This bridge held the title of the world's highest bridge until 2001. It stretches 384 meters across the stunning Royal Gorge, with the Arkansas River roaring 291 meters below. The deck is made from 1,292 wooden planks, each bolted in place. But here's the scary part. The bridge lacks a stable support structure. So when you walk across, the wooden boards shift under your feet. Not feeling brave enough, you can opt for the aerial tram instead, though your heart might still race. Top 10. Titlis Cliff Walk, Switzerland. Want to cross this bridge? First, you'll need to climb up Mount Titlis to 3,000 meters above sea level, then pass through a glacier tunnel and cave system to reach the starting point. The Titlis Cliff Walk is 100 meters long, just 1 meter wide, and clings to the sheer rock face of the Alps. Beneath you, a jaw-dropping 500-meter drop. It takes about 150 steps to make it across. And once you're on the other side, you can catch a cable car to continue your ascent. Still makes you wonder, why didn't anyone think of climbing up the other side first? Top 9. 7 Mile Bridge, Florida, USA. Most bridges on this list are terrifying because of their height or span. But the 7 Mile Bridge in Florida is different. It only rises 65 feet above sea level. But don't let that fool you. Its real fear factor lies in its endless length and the feeling of isolation in the middle of the ocean. Picture yourself driving along this perfectly straight bridge, surrounded by nothing but open sea, with no end in sight. If your car breaks down halfway, you'll be left staring at the water, waiting for help. And to make it worse, sudden storms often sweep in without warning. Once you're on this bridge, there's no turning back. Top 8. Kuzmajati Suspension Bridge, Nepal. This bridge is less of a crossing and more of a giant swing. Built at high altitude and constantly battered by strong winds, it sways wildly whether people or cattle are crossing. It may look flimsy, but it's strong enough to carry herds of cows, though they have to wear blindfolds to keep them calm. Originally built to ease congestion on nearby bridges, it's now a vital route for locals who drive their livestock across it daily. Talk about creative traffic management. Top 7. Ojuela Bridge, Mexico. Forget crossing this bridge. Just getting there is a challenge. The Ojuela Bridge spans 300 meters across a canyon, hanging 100 meters above the ground, and it's only 0.6 meters wide. Originally built for mule trains carrying, it's now open to pedestrians. But as you step onto the wooden planks, the bridge wobbles beneath your feet. Look down and you'll see straight through the gaps, right into the canyon below. And since it's a two-way path, you might have to squeeze past oncoming people. Fun fact, the same designer behind the Brooklyn Bridge worked on this one. Ready for a ghost town adventure? You sure about that? Top 6. Hangyaga Glass Bridge, China. If you're afraid of heights, this glass bridge might be your worst nightmare. Opened in late 2017, the Hangyaga Glass Bridge stretches 488 meters long, 220 meters above the ground. As if that wasn't scary enough, The designers made the entire deck from transparent glass and added a shaking effect. Every step you take feels like the glass might crack, although strict safety measures are in place. They only allow 600 people on the bridge at once, and gloves are mandatory to prevent scratches. There's another twist. Special sound effects make it sound like the glass is breaking beneath your feet. Whose legs wouldn't shake after hearing that? Top 5. Aya Kazurobashi Vine Bridge, Japan. Hidden deep within the Aya Valley on Japan's Shikoku Island, this ancient vine bridge is made entirely from woven vines. Those steel cables are hidden inside for safety. Huge gaps between the vines give you a clear view of the river rushing below. It's 45 meters long and stretches 14 meters above the Aya River, originally designed to be cut down quickly to stop invading enemies. The bridge is now rebuilt with fresh vines every 3 years. Even with modern reinforcements, crossing this swaying structure isn't for the faint-hearted. Top 4. Panlong Cliff Glass Skywalk, China. Terrified of heights? Just looking at the skywalk can make your knees shake. It's perched 5,000 feet above the ground, with a fully transparent glass floor that makes you feel like you're walking on air. Some visitors can't even bring themselves to step onto it. But for thrill seekers, this is the ultimate photo op. Take that first step, and you might find yourself enjoying the view. Or not. The real question is, will you dare? Top 3. Vitim River Bridge, Russia. Crossing this bridge takes nerves of steel. An old, crumbling railway bridge. It's only 6 feet wide, with no guardrails or safety features. Below is the icy Vitim River. The deck is a mix of metal and decaying wooden planks, made dangerously slippery by snow and ice. And then there's the wind. Gusts so strong they could push your car off the bridge. Drivers are advised to roll down their windows to prevent getting blown over. No recorded accidents? Maybe because very few people are brave enough to even try. Top 2. Hosseini Hanging Bridge, Pakistan. To call this a bridge is generous. It's little more than ropes and planks, stretched across a raging river. The wind constantly thrashes it, making it sway violently. Locals say at least 10 people have fallen to their deaths here. Tourists typically take a few cautious steps, snap a photo, and run back to safety. But for the villagers, this bridge is a lifeline. They cross it daily, sometimes carrying heavy loads. Every step is a fight for survival. Top 1. Eshima Ohashi Bridge, Japan. This is a bridge you have to drive to believe. Eshima Ohashi connects Tottori and Shirmane prefectures, and from a distance, it looks like a road leading straight to the sky, with a slope so steep it resembles a roller coaster. The bridge stretches 1.4 kilometers, rising to 44 meters at its peak. The 5.1% and 6.1% inclines were designed to allow ships to pass underneath. But for drivers, it's a white-knuckle experience. Many regret starting the climb, but there's no turning back. Buckle up for the ride of your life. Closing. So, after seeing these 12 terrifying bridges, which one would you dare to cross? Or maybe there's one you wouldn't even look at. Drop your answers in the comments below. And if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more wild adventures. See you next time. Building construction throughout human history, mistakes are inevitable. But you'd think that multi-billion-dollar construction projects would be foolproof, right? Well, think again. Today, we're counting down the top 5 most expensive architectural failures in history. These mega projects burned through billions and left behind nothing but regret. From construction sites delayed for decades to skyscrapers on the verge of collapse. You won't believe how these disasters happened. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Ready? Let's get started. Top 5. Glencarry Tower, Scotland. Back in the 1960s, high-rise towers were seen as the future of housing in Scotland. Glencarry Tower was one of those ambitious projects. But by 2011, the tide had turned. The once celebrated towers were now considered urban eyesores and safety hazards. North Lanarkshire Council decided to demolish Glencarry Tower. The original demolition budget? Less than $1 million. Simple, right? Wrong. They discovered lethal asbestos throughout the building. Removal costs skyrocketed, adding another $500,000 to the bill. In the end, demolishing the building cost 166% of the original estimate, and no affordable housing replaced it. The residents lost their homes, and the developers lost their money. A complete disaster from start to finish. Top 4, 20 Finchard Street, London. This building's name? As creative as its design, 20 Finchard Street. It's a commercial skyscraper in London that was sold to the Hong Kong sauce company Lee Kum Kee for nearly £1 billion, setting a UK record for the most expensive single building sale. Because of its shape, it's nicknamed the Walkie-Talkie Building. But locals have another name for it, the ugliest building in Britain. We're not here to judge appearances today. We're here for its disastrous design flaw. Like many modern skyscrapers, it has a massive glass facade. But unlike most, the south-facing wall is curved inward. What's the problem? On sunny days, this curved mirror focuses sunlight straight down onto the street, magnifying the sun's rays 6 times stronger than normal. The result? Parked cars melted, pavement cracked, and one journalist even cooked an egg on the sidewalk. No stove required. He couldn't even pick up the pan because it was too hot. The architect, Raphael Vignoli, had already made a similar mistake in Las Vegas. He later admitted that if they had just adjusted the window design, the problem could have been avoided. His excuse? I didn't think London was that sunny. Oof. In the end, they had to spend an extra $14 million to install a massive sunshade system, finally putting an end to the fried egg tower fiasco. Top 3, Citicorp Center, New York City. This skyscraper almost triggered a domino-style collapse of Manhattan. The Citicorp Center stands 280 meters tall, supported by just 4 steel columns. And they're not even at the corners. They're oddly placed at the middle of each side. What could possibly go wrong? In 1978, a civil engineering student from Princeton pointed out a fatal flaw. The building was designed to resist direct wind, but it wasn't braced for quartering winds hitting at an angle. Under hurricane conditions, the entire building could collapse, and it wouldn't just fall. It would tip over like a domino, bringing nearby skyscrapers down with it. A secret emergency operation was launched. Only a handful of people, including the mayor, were informed. For 3 months, engineers worked around the clock, welding 2-inch thick steel plates at the joints to reinforce the building's structure. They managed to finish just in time. Luckily, Hurricane Ella changed course and never hit the city. The repairs cost millions, and no one knew about it until 17 years later, when one of the engineers casually mentioned it at a party. The story was later published in The New Yorker, shocking the entire world. Top 2, Stuttgart 21, Germany. What was supposed to be Germany's crown jewel in high-speed rail has become an epic disaster. The Stuttgart 21 project aimed to convert Stuttgart's terminal station into a through station, allowing direct rail connections between Paris, Munich, Vienna, and Bratislava. The plans sounded great. Estimated cost, $5.4 billion. Original completion date, 2019. What happened? Neither of those goals came true. The project faced endless delays. And the latest estimate? The station won't open until 2025, more than 6 years behind schedule. And the costs? At least double the original budget, ballooning to over $12 billion. That's not counting the endless protests from environmental groups and local residents. Then there's the nightmare of the soil conditions. They had to dig 60 kilometers of tunnel, but the local ground expands dangerously when it contacts water. Every time they dug a tunnel, it risked collapsing. And if that wasn't enough, in 2017, thousands of protected lizards living in the area had to be relocated. That alone cost $18 million. And if one of them died during relocation, an extra $10,000 per lizard. Today, Stuttgart 21 is often called the most expensive joke in Germany, and nobody's confident that $12 billion will be the final price tag. Top 1. Jeddah Tower, Kingdom Tower, Saudi Arabia. Imagine stacking 2.5 Empire State Buildings on top of each other. That's how tall the Jeddah Tower was supposed to be. The world's first 1-kilometer high skyscraper, a symbol of Saudi Arabia's vision to diversify its economy and to rival Dubai's Burj Khalifa. Construction began in 2013 and was supposed to finish in 2018. But in 2017, a massive anti-corruption crackdown hit the kingdom. Many key investors, including Prince Al Walid bin Talal, were arrested. Funding dried up, and the project stalled after reaching just 252 meters, only 1/3 of its planned height. Then came the COVID-19 pandemic, pushing back any hopes of restarting construction. Today, the Jeddah Tower stands abandoned, a lonely giant in the desert. If the project is never finished, it's estimated to lose at least $1 billion. That's 32.2 billion new Taiwan dollars. Straight down the drain. No one knows if it will ever rise again, or if it's destined to be the world's tallest failed project. So, which one of these epic fails shocked you the most? Or have you heard of an even crazier architectural disaster? Tell us in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping stories. See you in the next video. Water wave. When you think of waves, you probably imagine crystal blue waters, soft beaches, and peaceful vibes. But don't be fooled. The ocean has a wild, unforgiving side. When the monster waves rise, even the most seasoned surfers are fighting for their lives. Today, we're counting down 15 of the most jaw-dropping, terrifying waves ever caught on camera. These monster swells have made history, crushing boards, breaking bones, and testing the limits of human survival. Light bulb pro tip: watch this one from the safety of your couch. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments which wave blew your mind the most. Ready? Let's dive in. Top 15. Tarkwa Bay, Nigeria. At first glance, it looks like a tropical paradise. But Tarkwa Bay is home to some of the world's most dangerous waves. Not just because of their size, but because of extreme pollution, industrial waste, garbage. Even bodies drift in these waters. Surfing here, you'll need guts, a strong stomach, and maybe a hazmat suit. Tarkwa Bay is less of a surf spot and more of a survival test. Top 14. Tehupo'o, Tahiti. Some call it the ultimate surfing spot, but most call it Death Wave. Tehupo'o in Tahiti is legendary for its deadly surf. Just Google Tehupo'o death and you'll see why. In 2001, a local surfer wiped out on a 12-foot wave, crashing from a massive height, suffering 3 spinal fractures. He slipped into a coma and died 2 days later. This tragedy became one of the most devastating surf-related deaths ever recorded. Out here, the ocean doesn't forgive. Top 13. Cloudbreak, Fiji. Cloudbreak, also known as Thunder Reef, is a world-class, world-feared wave, located 3 miles off Fiji's coast. The waves here are brutally fast, breaking over sharp coral at insane speeds. On May 28, 2018, Cloudbreak delivered one of the biggest swells ever seen, a wave nicknamed Black Mamba. Surfers need jet skis just to get close, and once they drop in, there's no room for error. Top 12. Puerto Escondido, Mexico, a dream destination with a dark side. Puerto Escondido's waves have claimed more lives than we'll ever know. Before lifeguards were introduced, countless tourists disappeared beneath its massive surf. Many made it back, but only after brushing shoulders with death. The lucky few who survived took years to recover, physically and mentally. Today, it's a little safer, but the danger still lurks in every swell. Top 11. Waimea Bay, Hawaii. A paradise with a deadly reputation. Waimea Bay has swallowed more than its share of lives. From the 1950s to as recently as 2015, surfers and swimmers have vanished without a trace. One of the most tragic stories was in 1995, when California visitor Donnie Solomon disappeared forever in the surf. Here, the waves seem to wait for the moment you least expect, then strike. Even the best surfers in the world have met their match in Waimea. Top 10, Bonsai Pipeline, Hawaii. The most famous and the most deadly. Pipeline holds a record for the most surfer deaths in the world. Since 1989, at least 7 surfers have lost their lives here. In 2015, Evan Geiselman nearly became another casualty, knocked unconscious and dragged underwater. Rescue came just in time. From October to March, Pipeline is pumping, but it's not friendly, not even to the pros. Top 9, the right one-eyed giant, Australia. They call it the one-eyed giant for a reason. Located off the coast of Western Australia, this is home to the thickest, heaviest waves in the world. When it breaks, it funnels raw ocean power into razor-sharp coral. Even surf legend Kobe Aberton said, "This wave isn't made for surfing." But that hasn't stopped daredevils from trying. Most leave humbled. Some don't leave at all. Top 8, Mavericks, California. Known as one of the deadliest waves on Earth, Mavericks offers no mercy. With thick fog, freezing water, and great white sharks lurking, this spot isn't for the faint of heart. In 1994, Mark Fu lost his life here. In 2011, Simon Milosky drowned under similar conditions. Many surfers who challenged Mavericks were overwhelmed by fear, exhaustion, and eventually silence. Mavericks doesn't just break boards, it breaks spirits. Top 7, Lunada Bay, California. Perfect left-hand barrels. But the danger here isn't just the wave. It's the locals. The infamous Lunada Bay boys are known for slashing tires, breaking windows, and throwing tourists' belongings into the ocean. On top of that, the surf can still kill you. If the waves don't get you, the locals might. Top 6, Nazar, Portugal. Welcome to the home of giants. Nazar is a place where waves routinely hit 50 feet, and on the craziest days, over 80 feet. In 2013, big wave surfer Maya Gabira nearly drowned here. She was unconscious when pulled from the water. In 2020, Antonio Laureano reportedly rode a 101-foot wave here, one of the largest ever surfed. But as the locals say, Nazar isn't a surf spot, it's a death zone. Would you take the risk? Top 5, Western Australia's deadliest waves. Remote, unpredictable, and absolutely lethal. In 2012, pro surfer Ryan Hipwood barely survived a 60-foot wave here. That's the height of a 5-story building. Shark-infested waters make things worse. Since then, hardly anyone's dared to paddle out again. If there's a scale for surf survival, this place is off the charts. Top 4, Piai Jaws, Maui, Hawaii. The name sounds peaceful, but Jaws is anything but. In winter, storms send swells smashing over the coral reef, creating waves up to 70 feet high. Surfers need jet skis just to get into position. 1 second it's calm, the next it's a gladiator arena. Oh, and by the way, great white sharks roam these waters. For adrenaline junkies, Jaws is heaven. For everyone else, pure nightmare. Top 3, Dungeons, South Africa. With a name like Dungeons, you know it's going to be intense. Near Cape Town's Hout Bay, these icy waters hide deadly reefs and attract great whites. Only the bravest surfers enter this lineup. Red Bull's Big Wave Africa competition has been held here, but just 24 elite surfers are ever invited. Spectators? They watch safely from the cliffs, as riders risk it all below. Top 2, The Cave, Europe. Europe's most notorious death trap. Shallow reefs, angry sea urchins, and hostile locals make The Cave a no-go for most. Pro surfer Nick Lamb once wore 4 wetsuits to protect himself and still nearly drowned. His friend suffered a broken leg. This isn't surfing, it's war against the ocean. Top 1, Shipstern Bluff, Australia. A place as terrifying as it sounds. Shipstern Bluff's name comes from the 250-foot granite cliffs nearby. To reach it, you either trek through Tasman National Park or take a boat. Once you're there, you're towed into 20-foot mutant waves. For years, This wave was considered a myth. Today, only the most fearless dare take it on. And after one ride, many decide never to come back. Water waves. So, which of these monster waves would you dare to challenge? Or are you tapping out already? Tell us in the comments below. And if you love this countdown, smash that like button. Subscribe for more wild adventures. And we'll see you in the next one. Catch you later.